All right, I have some amazing video for you today. Now, if you're allergic to cringe, I would tune away. But if you relish it, if you live for the cringe, then this is the segment for you. I've been talking now for a very long time about how the Republican Party has moved away from even pretending to be about policy. This sort of started during the civil rights movement in the late 50s, 60s, and into the 70s. You can actually trace Republicans not being about policy all the way back to that. But in the more modern era, the Republican Party abandoning policy was accelerated when Newt Gingrich took over the control of speakership of the House of Representatives in 1994. When kind of dim-witted George W. Bush became president, Republicans moved further away from being about policy and instead being about cultural issues, et cetera, and memes and slogans. When Barack Obama became president, his being half black triggered so many of the more racist and xenophobic right wingers that the focus further went away from policy and more into personality stuff and culture war issues. And under Donald Trump, they pretended to even care about policy. And Joe Biden pointed this out at his press conference last week. Remember Joe Biden saying, "What are Republicans for?" Remember this?
Think about this. What are Republicans for? What are they for? Name me one thing they're for.
So Jake Tapper did something great. He had Republican Senator Joni Ernst on his program. She's from Iowa. Excuse me. And he said, can you name 3 things that Republicans actually stand for? All of these Republicans are furious with Joe Biden because he said they're not for anything. But tell us 3 things that you are for. And it is as wild and vapid as you can imagine. Let's take a look at this. And we're going to go piece by piece here.
So Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell has said he does not feel that Republicans need to present an agenda to the country. And generally speaking, I understand the politics. Midterms tend to be referenda on the people who are running the country. But what are 3 things that Republicans will do if you recapture the Senate in the midterms?
Well, I think that Republicans stand for a strong, free, and prosperous nation. And
a free, prosperous nation. Okay, well, let's talk policy.
So, one, we need to tackle the issue of inflation. Biden is facing a 40-year high with the inflation rate, and Iowans and all Americans are feeling those pressures. So alleviating those pressures on our families would be job number 1. COVID is...
So, okay, now listen to what she did there. She identified a problem. That's not a policy, and it's not a solution. She says inflation is high under Biden, and so we would reduce inflation. Okay, but that's not policy. Governments can use wage and price controls to fight inflation, but that can accelerate a recession and create job losses. You can look at contractionary monetary policy to fight inflation, reduce the money supply, look at bond prices, increase interest rate. She's identified a problem. It's like, how would you solve this cardiac issue that this person is having? Well, this individual is having a heart attack, so we would deal with that. No, right. But what I'm saying is, what is it that you would do to fix and deal with the heart attack? Okay, that's number 1. It's just stating a problem. Let's continue. She said now she's going into COVID.
Well, we need to make sure that American families have access to testing, but certainly we want to make sure that they are getting their children back into school and that their workplaces are safe and they can return to work.
Now, understand that that's completely vapid. First of all, she didn't care about testing when testing was a disaster under Trump. So, that's number 1. Number 2, most schools are open. Some schools have gone temporarily remote. Some have been forced to close because too many teachers got COVID and there's nobody there to teach. There's no policy there.
And then as well, we need to focus on additional things like, foreign relations with our allies, because obviously with national security, we are under a lot of pressure right now. So Republicans believe in
that is nothing. You're not saying anything. She says the 3 priorities would be bringing down inflation, but she doesn't say how, fighting COVID, when she didn't care about that under Trump, and doesn't actually say what would be done. And most of the things she's saying she wants to see are already happening, like most schools open and workplaces open. And then they would do foreign relations. They really aren't for anything. She was given an opportunity. She could have said, What we are going to do very specifically is we will we will try to get the Fed to change direction on interest rates, which we believe would get inflation from X to Y. We would do this or that on, even if they're crazy things, like we would force schools to be open and be penalized, like even if it's crazy. Say what you will do. Given an opportunity and has nothing, literally nothing. They aren't for anything. Joe Biden was exactly right in pointing that out. But the crazy part is they might still take over the House and Senate, even not being for anything, because it's not clear they need to be for anything. The vast majority of their voters don't care that they aren't for anything. And that's really the scariest part of all of this. Your internet traffic can be observed by a number of people, your internet service provider, big tech platforms, even by the government. And that's why I protect my internet connection with Atlas VPN, which hides my IP address, making me invisible to these intermediaries on the internet who can track me and sell my data. I also use Atlas VPN to watch shows on Netflix and Hulu, only available in other countries. But the privacy aspect is what's most important to me. If you're not using a VPN, read about it, read about why they're so important. And with just one Atlas VPN account, I can protect all of my devices at the same time. You turn it on once, you forget about it, you stay anonymous. Right now, Atlas VPN is having a big sale for my audience, giving you 86% off. This comes out to $1.39 a month. Plus, you'll get 3 months free. Just click the link below and use the code PACMAN.